Well, good afternoon, everyone. Have to thank you, Antonia Bertolino, okay, for bringing this event, okay, to my attention, okay, and it's a pleasure to be here. As usual, it is a pleasure to be in Italy, okay, and here in Milano, okay, it's my first time here. And well, I'm basically going to talk about what we can do, okay, when we do testing, okay, to get the more information we can, okay, the most information we can about the testing process, okay. So basically, I'm sorry. Okay, this T-shirt I'm wearing, okay, it's ElasTest. It's a European project, okay, funded by the European Commission. And what we are doing here is we are building a platform for end-to-end testing. Okay, well, we can do unit testing as well in ElasTest, okay? But our main ambition is to ease the process of end-to-end testing, okay? And well, we started on January last year, okay? The development effort started more or less in June last year. So we have been developing the platform for 1 year, more or less, 12 months, okay? And we still have 1 year and a half ahead, okay? These are the partners of the project, okay? The coordinator, I'm the coordinator of the project from Juan University in Madrid, Spain, okay? And we are in close collaboration with all these partners, specifically with Antonia Bertolino from CNR here in Italy, in Pisa, okay? And our experience from Juan Carlos University, okay, was basically on building integration tests, okay, for video conferencing software, okay, for basically software that enables developers to build video conferencing applications. And we faced a lot of problems, and we spent a lot of time, almost 3 years, building a comprehensible set of test cases for assessing this kind of applications, okay. So out of the problems we had, okay, when building this kind of applications, okay, we thought that it could be a good idea if we could ease the process for everyone. So we decided to launch this proposal that was finally accepted by the European Commission, okay, as, in the form of a European project, okay, to develop an open source platform, okay, that could ease the way towards end-to-end testing, okay. So basically, this is probably something you all know, okay. The cost of testing, okay, in the last Capgemini World Quality Report was about 26%, and it is expected that will increase towards 32%, okay. And in part, this increment, okay, is due to the way we develop applications nowadays, okay. We are leveraging the cloud, which is good, okay, but also poses some challenges when it comes to testing, okay. So testing large distributed software platforms is something that it requires some additional efforts, okay. It's not just doing unit testing with your classes, okay. So testing this kind of application, okay, is hard, okay, it's time-consuming, and you either are lacking tools, okay, or even worse, you have a lot of tools and you don't know exactly which tools to use, okay, which tools could better serve your purpose, okay. So basically, when you do end-to-end testing, okay, the one thing that you notice is that you need some infrastructure, okay. We are talking about testing an application, okay, in its own environment, in the environment in which it will run, okay. So the infrastructure needs to be there in order to deploy the application and run some tests against this application, okay. And this usually require a lot of effort, okay, for preparing all the environment where tests are going to be run. Think about a web application, okay, I need some browser ready, okay, so I need to install those browsers on top of the infrastructure, on the testing infrastructure, okay, I need to deploy the application, I need to be sure that the browsers can connect to the application, okay, and the test can connect to the browsers, which in turn connect to the application. So this is requiring some effort just for running a set of simple test cases, okay. And well, not to talk about running these test cases on real-world conditions, okay? So emulating real-world conditions on this kind of application is really a challenge, okay? And there are several proposals, mainly from the big internet players, let's say Netflix, for instance, that are developing some tools, okay, for their specific purposes, okay, that basically enforce this kind of real-world conditions, okay? So they do things like, well, let's shut down several machines and let's see if we are still able to deliver video with adequate quality, okay? This is really hard, okay? And also there is a lack of tools for doing troubleshooting. So one thing is to run the tests, okay? So when the tests fail, what do you have? Red or green? More or less, okay? What else? Okay, logs. Okay, logs and logs and logs that you throw to your developers, hoping that they will be able to find something there, right? Well, this is a problem and a challenge we want to tackle in the project, okay? So we focus on all those 5 things, okay, in the last test, okay? So we focus on infrastructure. We are making something that it works on different infrastructures. So basically you could run your tests on a cloud provider, but you could run your tests also on your own premises. We focus on providing services that could make easier for you, okay, to do this kind of testing. So for instance, are you going to use browsers? We give browsers for free, okay? So we emulate real world conditions. So if you want to induce some failures into your infrastructure to see how the application behaves, okay? For instance, okay, we do load testing or whatever. We are focusing also on providing tools for troubleshooting so that you could understand why the application is failing or why this specific test is failing, okay? And also we are providing tools for easing the communication among team members. So I suppose that all of you, okay, are testers. I'm sorry, I come from the development community, okay? And sometimes there is this lack of communication between, okay, managers, testers, developers, right? So ideally we should be able to talk, okay, one with the others, okay, so that we can solve the problem we have at hand, right? So, and this is something we are going to encourage as well within the project. So, okay, that looks good. How do we use it? Well, we provide several ways you can use ElasTest, okay? It could be, okay, from a web page, right? So basically you install ElasTest and then you open, okay, a browser and basically interact with the user interface. Or maybe you already have some continuous integration server that is running your tests, okay, every night or whatever, okay, if you have automated tests. Well, no problem, we have a Jenkins plugin, okay, so that basically you can run your tests, okay, in Jenkins, but under the hoods, okay, we are using ElasTest to store all the information that I will show you in a moment you can collect with ElasTest, okay? Or maybe you want to use your integrated development environment and leverage the services provided by ElasTest. So for instance, browsers, okay? You could do that as well. And you can run ElasTest on your laptop, okay? And we are working on a version that could fit very well in a laptop. Or you can do it on your own testing environment, okay? So if you have some infrastructure for testing, okay, you could install ElasTest on top of that infrastructure. So what about my test? I mean, if I'm going to have a look at your platform, okay, will you make me change my testing framework, my testing language, whatever? If you are doing automating tests, that's not a problem, okay? You can do whatever language you choose, okay? We are language agnostic, right? So basically, given that you can run your tests, okay, within a container, okay, we can run the test within ElasTest and collect a lot of information about the test, okay, and the system under test. And talking about information, okay, what kind of information are we able to collect in ElasTest? Well, at the first sight, okay, we are able to collect, for instance, metrics about the system under test and about the test. So how much memory is the system consuming, how much CPU is the system consuming, how much network, okay, outgoing network, ingoing network, okay, everything that can be measured can be collected by ElasTest. Okay. Not only for a single binary. I mean, if your system is composed of different subsystems, okay, we are able to collect information from the different subsystems, okay, and you will be able to navigate this data, okay, choosing exactly which subsystem are you interested in, okay. So maybe you are interested in your front ends, okay, maybe you are interested in your back ends, whatever. We can give you the metrics, okay, and we collect also the logs, okay. The logs of the test, but also the logs of the application. So when your test fails, okay, let's say in Jenkins, for instance, okay, you have the test of the log. Sorry, you have the log of the test, okay, but what about the logs of the application? Where are those logs? You call your operations team, and you say, okay, send me the logs of this thing. Or how do you do that? I mean, sometimes it's very difficult to get those logs, okay? We are collecting all those logs for you, okay, and we are presenting them, okay, in an integrated way. Well, you can see them in real time, but the really interesting thing here, okay, is this. This is a log analyzer that is included within ElasTest, okay, and basically what we can see here is the logs from different systems, okay. So all the systems are displayed here. You can filter which systems are you interested in, so you can filter out those systems that you are not interested much on them. Maybe you don't expect errors on the database logs, right? So you can skip that, okay, and just focus on your application, right? You can look for some strings, let's say, okay? So you want to look for, well, I think this could be related to this thing, and I know that I could know that if I found this string in the logs. So you can look for the string, but usually most tools, okay, for doing that kind of search, and basically what they do is that they filter out everything that does not match with the string, okay? What we do instead is that you can mark with different colors different things, okay? So you can basically follow the trace of the different logs, okay, even marking with different colors, different parts of the log, okay? So this could be something that could help you troubleshoot what's exactly happening, okay, on your test, right? And this can be viewed online or offline. Right. And if you are doing web testing in particular, okay, you are using browsers, and you might be interested in recording your browser session for later inspection, okay? So basically, if you are using the browser provided by ElasTest, all the sessions are recorded and all the sessions are available when the test finishes, okay? So you can inspect exactly what was happening at the browser by opening the video. So this is nice, okay, but how much time do I need to invest, okay, in adopting ElasTest, okay? Well, we've been working hard towards integrating ElasTest with different systems that we think, okay, it could be useful for the community, okay? In the end, this is an open source project, okay? As an open source project, okay, you succeed if the people think you are useful for their job, okay? So we did a first integration with Jenkins. So basically, there's a Jenkins plugin, okay, that integrates with ElasTest, so that the same tests that you are running in Jenkins, okay, under the hoods are sent to ElasTest, so that ElasTest can collect all the logs and all the metrics, okay, and can display those that information within the ElasTest user interface. Okay, so basically, this is a sample, okay, of how to use the Jenkins plugin, okay, and basically we leverage this new Jenkins pipeline description language for Jenkins jobs. Okay, and we have this ElasTest keyword here, there on the top, okay, that basically is what instructs Jenkins to run the test within ElasTest, okay, and enables ElasTest to collect information from the different, from the test, okay, with a minimal modification of your testing jobs. So in the end, the same information you have in Jenkins, it is available now in ElasTest, but in addition with the test, to the test logs, okay, we also have the logs and the metrics of the system under test, okay, of the application. And we did a second integration with a test management tool, okay, and this was because we have, I will talk later about one of our demonstrators who is doing manual testing, okay, and for them, they could have a gain, okay, if they would be able to run their tests, which are already specified in test link, okay? So they have a lot of tests specified in test link, okay? What they wanted to do is to leverage the ElasTest infrastructure, okay, to run those tests. So for that, we built this test link integration, okay, where basically we can run, okay, a test build in test, defined in test link, okay, and we can collect. We open the browser, okay, on the right we are working on improving the user interface, but you get the idea. We open the browser, you do the testing, okay, and we collect all the information. Okay, we collect the logs, we collect the metrics, okay, whatever. So in the end, okay, what you have is that you have the same test you have in test link, okay, but in ElasTest we have a lot of additional information. Okay, not only the notes that you take while you're running the test, okay, but also the logs, but also the metrics, how the system was performing, etc. Well, this one I will skip. Basically, the architecture of the ElasTest, okay, was kept here just for information, but not very useful. So this is happening in the context of a European project, okay? So finally, what you need to do is you need to demonstrate that this works on different contexts. And we have chosen 4 contexts, which are web applications, which I think it covers most of the market, okay? Also, video conferencing applications using this standard WebRTC, okay? 5G telecommunication applications, okay? And for this, we are working with people from TUB and from Hofer Focus. And also Industry 4.0 applications. Okay, so what we are doing is demonstrating, okay, how this platform ElasTest, okay, is useful in those all 4 context, right? And for demonstrating this, we are collaborating closely with Antonia, okay, and they are running an extensive experimentation, okay, continuously during the running of the project, okay, to assess ElasTest in the context of the 4 demonstrators, okay. So these are some preliminary results, okay, not big numbers yet, but at least it's interesting how, for instance, there is a gaining, okay, on cost time, okay, in results analysis and debugging. So it seems that the tools we are providing for troubleshooting, okay, when some tests are failing, it seems they are working, okay? It's too early to say it, but at least maybe we are in the good track, okay? So all the data anyway will be made available through our project website, okay? So we will see in the following months, okay, how this develops. So what's the roadmap for the project? Okay, well, we already have a 0.9 version available, okay? With some huge requirements, okay? Collecting all these logs and metrics, okay, requires a lot of memory and CPU, so probably not good for a laptop yet, but for September we are going to have both versions, laptop ready and cloud ready, okay? By the end of this year, okay, we plan to ship version 1.0 as soon as we think it is ready for production use, okay? And for this, we are working with some companies that could be adopting the platform, okay, on their own processes. And for next year and beyond, okay, after the project, the European project finishes, okay, just stay tuned, okay. And for this, okay, and for this, okay, I would like to ask you a little favor, okay. We want to build the better possible platform, okay? So one of the things we want to do is to keep aligned with the industry. In the end, if the project is not, this is an open source project. If we do not succeed on adoption, okay, obviously the project will die when the European project ends. So we want to know exactly, okay, what are your needs, okay? And for this, for instance, we have included in our advisory boards on some companies that are doing testing right now, okay? But we would like to collect information from the whole community of testers, okay? So you can help you by filling this little survey that is, okay, in that URL, okay, so that we know exactly what are your needs, okay? And we can focus on, and we can decide on which are going to be our focus, okay, for next year, right? So we still have 1.5 years, okay, for the project. So, okay, what is that we need to prioritize in our roadmap, okay, once we finish what we have at hand. So, well, you can also help us, okay, with some little actions. So, for instance, you can start our repositories at GitHub, okay? Those are things that make us happy and work more happy, you know. You can subscribe at our user mailing list, okay, at you can find that URL. So if you want to stay tuned, okay, subscribe to the user mailing list, and there we can help you solve problems if you are testing the platform or whatever, okay? And you can watch our videos in our YouTube channel. Some of them are a bit long, but there are some nice 5-minute videos that you can watch there, okay, to have a feeling of how the platform works, okay? And in any case, okay, I will be here, okay, during the day, so if you want, okay, I can show you a demo or whatever, okay, no problem with that. So thank you very much for your attention.